to the movies.
Welcome to... there we go. Hey, everybody. I'm the producer as well, so I can't ever look at the camera at the beginning.
I'm the producer.
Well, I have to do all this stuff here. Welcome to Mondays with Mandy.
And Christian.
We just celebrated 22 years of marital bliss on Saturday. How did we celebrate, honey? Are you joking?
Sushi.
Okay,
No, I was trying to think.
Whatever.
I was trying to think.
Jeez. What?
Whatever. Very blissful. I'm moving these puzzle pieces, and I can't do more than one thing at a time. So
That's
we have
obviously true.
We have this awesome puzzle going, and I'm concerned that these pieces. Watch your sleeve. See, you're gonna.
These are all important. They're my record. We have been working on puzzles religiously.
Okay, Kay Hampson.
Thank you, Kay. If you watch or have nothing better to do with your life than talk to us on Monday morning.
Technically not even talking to us, just
yeah.
watching.
Clearly, Mandy and I cared enough about this to get showers today, too. So.
Hey, you know what?
What?
I could have. And then I thought...
Quarantine wardrobe.
Screw it, because...
Quarantine. Warranteen. What were you going to say? You could have, but what? You didn't want to.
No.
That's the answer.
No. I thought, for the rest of my day, I'm hoping to paint and then do some more, work, and then we have all that wood outside. So I was like, I want to shower later, not now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take 2 showers because it really dries my skin out.
Shout out to our sponsors, 1 and 7B, and Puma. Just kidding.
And Adidas, and Live Like Lucas, but...
We need money!
No. Support these guys.
And you're incredible. Walking. Yeah, and I just could care less, apparently.
I'm selfish.
I do wear a lot of Puma, especially during quarantine.
Because that's what I buy.
It is so comfortable.
It usually is.
All right.
Let's face it.
So far,
it's going to be really tempting for me to
there's 3 people on Facebook.
Do you hear me?
What?
This is going to be so tempting for me.
I know you were going to work on it. I knew you would.
Puzzle.
She had a hard time spending time with the kids yesterday during Mother's Day because mostly she just wanted to do. Just kidding.
It's true.
Well, sort of. I felt bad about saying it though.
Why? I think every Mother's Day, given quarantine, should have been moms being totally alone from everybody. It shouldn't have been more forced time together.
I literally had a video about that I was going to show on Sunday morning. It was funny, and you nixed it because you said it was sad.
Because that mom...
You're full of it. You wanted to be with the kids.
That mom...
We went on a nice 4.5-mile hike yesterday. It was amazing.
The hike... I loved the hike.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is...
It would have been better without the kids.
That's by myself. I mean, with you.
Yeah.
Let's go here.
What did we do on our anniversary?
Because I paused for that because we had talked about going for a hike, but in my old decrepit age, I'm getting where I freeze when I go outside. My toes actually get numb and my fingers do. And so Saturday it was cold enough that if I had gone on a hike, I would have come back with frozen toes. And I didn't feel like having frozen toes. And then all of a sudden my lips got blue, and remember, I was getting goosebumps and I felt kind of nauseous, and I was like, maybe we shouldn't go for a hike.
Yeah.
Let's eat sushi instead.
We ate a lot of sushi.
So we ate a lot of sushi.
We did.
Downstairs by ourselves, and and then I fell asleep.
No, then we went and got McDonald's ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
It was delicious.
It's the highlight of my day. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I can still taste it now. It's so dreamy and amazing and creamy. It's the best ice cream in the world.
Yeah, we got it 2 days in a row.
Because I got it on Mother's Day.
Yeah. We should go tonight just to keep the streak going.
How long? Hey, we could probably make millions of dollars because we could be one of those people. You know how when people lost weight over McDonald's, they're like, I ate McDonald's for 10 weeks and I lost 30 pounds.
You're going to be the new Jared?
Yeah.
From Subway?
Yeah. And I'll be I lost weight on McDonald's eating purely ice cream.
That's what I've always wanted, an ice cream diet.
Well, I mean, I made that happen for you.
It's dairy. And that's it. And
Sugar.
I'm not sure McDonald's ice cream is dairy. I mean,
it's ice
what do you
milk.
think is in it?
It's ice milk.
What is ice milk?
I don't know. That's just what they say.
What is ice milk? Chris Simmons, if you're watching, tell us what ice milk is.
He already knows what ice milk is.
I know.
He's idiots.
Guys, literally one of the first times I remember, I know I've known Chris for a very, very long time, but one of the first times I remember hanging out with Chris was when we Chris, see if you remember this. I don't know why, but we were at Stone Balloon. No, I've never been to Stone Balloon.
Yes, you have.
Iron Hill. We were at Iron Hill with a bunch of people,
Jon
and I got
Snow.
to sit next to you. You remember? And you knew everything about everything, and that was when I first decided I wanted to be your friend.
Man crush?
Oh, Chris is smart.
I know.
Yeah.
If he told me something that was totally not true, I would be like, okay.
Yeah, he's one of those people.
I wouldn't even question it.
All right.
Elliot gave me this mug.
Interact with us, those three of you that are watching.
Gave me this mug.
Tell us what you're thinking today. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we talked about lament during church yesterday, and so we're going to talk about it a little bit more.
I missed half the teaching because I'm a stupid dog. I was lamenting over how dumb my dog was.
I love my dog.
I love him. Let's not start this again. It's not. I'm not going there.
What happened to the dog? Last week, you talked about how the dog pulled you down and almost broke your arm.
It was my neck, actually.
Yeah, and then this
Scary,
week,
isn't it? My neck still hurts.
he broke his collar and got loose.
Well, the dumb orange cat that's like feral, partly, that's our neighbor's apparently, but he's too old. I can't talk to him about it. He's too pitiful. I can't go say, keep your cat out of my yard. He can barely walk. How's he going to do that? So it just is
cat?
what it is. No! And then I saw Wesley's ears point, and I was like, oh, crap. So I held on.
Braced yourself.
I did.
Yeah.
And he took off, and his collar broke.
Well, it's better than dragging you on the ground.
It really was, actually.
Yeah. It's just a collar.
I was like, and then the cat went like a cartoon, like climbed up this huge tree with a tippy top. I was like, that's really high.
Chris wants you to know that we do record, so you can go back and finish watching my teaching from yesterday.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Hey, that's setting a terrible example for people.
I love listening to you teach.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I just noticed? You have a little black thing in your teeth right on this side.
Oh, wow, that's been there since last night.
What? You brushed your teeth?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you not get that out?
Twice since then. Is this bad?
No one else will probably be able to see it, honestly. It's super tiny.
Maybe I should go get rid of it.
I'd be all alone by myself with everybody.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Anyway, he was fine. He broke his collar. He wouldn't
Yeah.
come to me, and it was more irritating than anything, and I was super angry with him because it just creates a lot of drama here because some of our children get really upset and sad when he, because we live off a busy road. So
It's terrifying when he gets away.
It is.
But
anyway.
So why we do Mondays with Mandy is we like to have a little bit of a follow-up with people from Sunday morning, and we like to have a chance for Mandy and I just to interact with people and because we don't get to see you because of quarantine, and so
Quarantine sounds like Ovaltine, and every time someone says it, not every time, but like probably 75% of the time, I hear Ovaltine from
Is
that.
Ovaltine like that orange mixed drink, or is it a fake coffee?
Chocolate. It's chocolate. It's
What?
like Quick. Remember Nestle Quick? How you would have to, when we were little, there wasn't Hershey syrup.
Really?
We had those as a powder, so it was Ovaltine. So in the Christmas story, he figures out
Did it
the
have a
puzzle
song?
from the radio, I don't know, and he's like, Ovaltine? What? Ovaltine? And he says other things than that, but so when
He just
everyone
says
says
Ovaltine over and over
quarantine,
again.
I think, well, he says other things.
There's
So-
a song called Ovaltine.
Oh, play it. Is it from like some like rapper? It's probably. Drink your Ovaltine. Woo! Drink your Ovaltine. Woo!
There's a band named Ovaltine.
Well, that makes sense.
Drink your Ovaltine! There's another band named Ovaltine. What is wrong with people? Did he say
sounds
sex
like-
caffeine?
It sounded like it, and it also said that also sounded like that one band that darn it.
We are now down to
The
zero.
Eagles.
We are now down to 0 users. Just kidding. We're up to 6. Oh, 5. Someone just jumped off. They're like, I hate that band, Ovaltine. They're just so sweet, though, that band.
What? Someone jumped off? What are you saying?
Oh
I
my
missed two
goodness.
thoughts at
Yeah,
once.
you stop.
I know.
Okay, so what we want to do today, the serious part of today, is we're going to talk a little bit about praying honest prayers to God, because we've done this before. And so, we talked about lamenting yesterday, which if you missed the teaching...
I said I watched like...
Yeah, right.
It was
10
more
seconds.
than half. Not
Whatever.
enough.
Yeah.
Did I hurt
You can
your
tell who
feelings?
loves me.
Did I hurt your feelings?
You never hurt my feelings.
That would be so sad if I did. I really don't want to hurt people's feelings.
To be honest, I don't get my feelings hurt very often by you.
I am pretty mean to you. I'm like, why would you do that?
I wouldn't say mean. I'd say more annoying.
Yeah, but I'm annoying to everybody, and that's why
I
there's
don't know
barely
that that's
anybody
true.
watching this.
I don't know that that's true. I don't know that you're annoying to other people.
Okay.
You just
Lamenting, forget it. Just forget this.
So lamenting is just praying to God out of your pain and being honest with Him and not sugarcoating it. So we thought we would just talk a little bit about how we've done that in our lives together and how it's hard. Like I think sometimes when you do pray that honestly, you can feel guilty, or even you can feel like I shouldn't talk to God like this. So I was going to talk to you about that today. What do you think?
I agree.
Okay. Have there been any examples that you can share with the thousands of people that are watching today of prayers that you've prayed of lament and like how it's helped you or how it was hard for you to do, or did you feel guilty about it? Let's get in and open this bad boy up. What's deep in the heart there?
You know that's not going to happen. Like, I'm so exterior. If I let you into my heart,
let's get some tears going.
You must have been around for a long time.
All right.
So there's different questions. There's different problems, not problems, I guess, like aspects of this. When you ask me to think about it, about the time, there's obviously really like markers or times that stick out to me. Obviously, where I've lamented over long periods of time.
Why don't you pick one?
But then there's things I've lamented over that haven't been like as important or like as big in my life. What? What?
Like when you go to a McDonald's and they tell you that the ice cream machine's broken. Why do those things break so often?
Maybe because it's made from ice milk.
Chris, you haven't answered us yet. All right. So there's bigger things and there's smaller things. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't know what you really wanted, like, because I feel like lamenting is like our dog is chewing a bone. If you can hear that crunching sound in the background.
Okay. Finish the sentence. You feel like lamenting is?
Yes, I feel like lamenting is like even the word like to me means like it's a really big thing, not just like the teensy things.
Okay.
Don't you think so?
I guess that's true. It kind of sounds horrible. Like
it's like a
lament.
It's over and over and over, and like it's just like this like long request of like.
That's interesting.
This penetrating thing, like it's.
Tell me more.
You get no choice in the paint colors over there just because of that.
I already knew that.
Okay. I'm going to paint my dining room and my kitchen. And there's paint chips on the wall over there.
True story. One time, she picked a paint color and I painted our entire townhouse.
I picked a paint
downstairs color? And the hallway going up the stairs. And when we woke up in the morning, it was pink.
It was pink. And
I had to repaint the whole house.
Thankfully, it was
so
very
tell
small.
tell us about one of the harder times that you've lamented.
Well, I mean, I think most of you know that are watching, like, we lost 2 kids from stillbirth, and so, like, I mean, I say that like it's like not a big deal, but I mean, I just, not that it's not, you know what I mean. I say it, I just don't want to dwell on it anyway, because I don't want people to feel sorry for me or something like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I did lament during that period of time, and what that looked like basically was just me crying out to God because I felt really betrayed and felt really lost.
Yeah.
And I also felt a lot of other things because I was also like going kind of crazy, and so I felt a lot of desperation in terms of like my own sanity. And so there's a lot of lamenting of like my personal life, but then yet lamenting because I felt like not only was I suffering in my heart, but like mentally and physically, like I was deteriorating, and I didn't understand why God wasn't sparing me of any of it.
Sure. Yeah, it was really true.
I got real, really fast.
Do you feel like it's okay to say to God, I feel like you betrayed me? Like, I feel like some of us would have been raised in religious or Christian settings where that would have been kind of like disrespectful to God or dishonoring of God. Sorry.
You know when people are on talk shows like late night?
Yeah.
And like they reach for a drink?
Yeah.
Don't you ever wonder what's inside of it?
I assume there's nothing in there.
I don't ever assume that.
Okay.
But like, does that movie star require a certain kind of like sparkling water?
Definitely, 100%.
Sorry, you were onto something serious.
Yeah. Do you think, like, did you struggle with, or do you think that some people might struggle with, like, is that, yeah.
Well, I don't feel like that because Jesus said it on the cross, so I don't feel like badly about that. I think the part that I felt badly about was feeling like I was so holier than thou, or so good, or so self-righteous, or whatever, that I wouldn't suffer. Or continue multiple sufferings. Like, you know. But then no one escapes that. And so I think it's just like the reality of what will you suffer when you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Not if you'll suffer.
Sure.
So I think I had to... there was just a lot going on inside me. I think I felt like I couldn't be a good Christian or a good, like... If I questioned him, it felt like... Because there's so many scriptures that say, like, who are you to do this when the God of the universe is, like, in charge and, you know...
Right.
What are you doing right now?
I'm trying to keep him from his bone.
Why?
Because he's so noisy.
Well, he wants it. He's just going to bring it right back.
Oh, and he hit the camera.
Oh, and he slid into his toy box.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, buddy.
This is such a professional thing we do here.
We should just stop.
All three of those people would be really sad. They'd be like, suddenly I have my Mondays back. Well, I think that's a good point, because in Job, there is kind of like, okay, I feel like it's like, how do I balance being honest with God but also being respectful of God? Do you think about that at all? Or do you feel like you can say whatever you want to God?
No, there is a fear you're supposed to have of God. It says that. You know, there is a holiness that he requires. I mean, I know there's grace, and I know that there's, you know, the veil was torn in two, and I know that we're supposed to come to him as children, and we're his sons and daughters. Like, I know all that, but there is also, like, kind of like when I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but I really want to go. Maybe we can do that someday.
Yeah.
But I can imagine standing there and being, like, awestruck of how just you can't take it in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I feel like that's the relationship where the fearfulness comes in with God. Like, he's just so great. So, like, but that brings you to your knees, you know,
right.
Where you realize how finite you are.
Right, because, like, Job was definitely, like, honest with God, but kind of near the end, God was also a little bit like,
listen, bud.
You don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? Like.
Yeah, definitely, not kind of.
But he wasn't mean. Sure. I don't think he was mean about it. And also, there's a lot of other lessons. That's a difficult book to understand theologically, I think. But, yeah, I just think I think what I would hope is that people could get some freedom to be more honest with God. I think probably if we, as a people, we err on being less instead of more. And, you know, some of the stuff I was reading is that if you're not praying these honest prayers, it's kind of stifling or holding down your healing and your grieving process.
Well, I can see that, because that's the same thing as if, like, you are supposed to be grieving, and then you don't let yourself, like, have those outlets. That'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, sweetie. A kid just came up from the upstairs.
Okay, well, I mean,
What about
how has it helped? What? This is Mondays with Mandy.
Oh, right.
Do you feel like being really honest in your prayers was helpful during those times? Did you see a trajectory at all? Like, or was it just like angry, 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 bitter, bitter, bitter?
Well, during that time, I was angry for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I was really honest with the fact that, I mean, I don't know if I journaled it or if I just said it or both, whatever. It doesn't matter, I guess. But I was really honest with God and said, you know, the only reason I actually believe in you is so that I can actually hold my kids again. So, like, and I didn't care.
Right.
Like, I was so angry, I didn't care at all. Like, if I had to believe in him just to go to heaven, that was all I cared that my relationship was with him.
What was your worship like with going to church and trying to worship during those times?
It was just going through the motions. And I went for the kids because, you know, that's just what I needed to do for them. Yeah. They needed to have...
Our kids that were alive.
Yeah.
At that time.
Sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Elliot's about to come inside, so you're going to maybe hear barking. But anyway.
Elliot barks when he comes inside. It's weird. I don't know why he does that every time he comes in.
We're on Facebook, just so you know. You want to be on with us?
No thanks.
No thanks. So polite.
What is the deal? All of our kids are now in this one tiny room.
They're appearing. Fine.
We
Whatever.
love our kids.
I think we talk too.
Valerie George commented that she is, she's with Rogers, which is her husband, who is out west. They're out west together without the kids, and so they got the hike on Mother's Day, just the two of them.
Aww.
And she
That's
said it was really nice.
Yeah. I'll bet. No, so yeah, I think but I don't think, it's not like, I don't know what I'm about to say. That was okay with God, is what I'm just trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, he
I
doesn't
think that's
need
good to
me.
hear. I think
He
people
doesn't
wonder.
He doesn't need me to, like, he wants me to want him, but it's just like with our kids, like, I want them to want a relationship with me, and and like, that'd be so sad.
But you don't need them to want a relationship with you.
Well, I'm probably unhealthy into the fact that I probably do, because I'm a human being.
Yeah, but
so on
God
some
doesn't.
level, but God doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting that I think that all Christians go through a dark night of the soul. And I can't remember the author that wrote about that first. The dark night of the soul.
Be careful, please. It just rained.
But it's a part of our trajectory. I was listening to another thing I was listening to that was really interesting. This was in a teaching by John Mark Comer that he just gave recently at Bridgetown Church, and he was saying that a lot of people kind of hit this spiritual development in later life when you start to realize that life isn't what you thought it would be, everything doesn't go the way you thought it would go, and so there's this like maturity that happens
when you hit your 30s.
Yeah, he said late 30s into 40s, and it's like it's not just his opinion; it's like research is shown.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, which is interesting,
Well, your brain is all
as a result of the pandemic, like Generation Y, Millennials, Generation Y, even Generation Z, are being forced into that because of seeing something that is outside their control happening to their whole generation, their whole world. So there might be some like development and growth that is going to be really healthy for people, that they're being forced to confront something. Similarly, but not nearly as bad as the World War II generation, who was forced to confront this thing they couldn't control. This is really interesting. Can I keep talking? So that generation, the World War II generation, after the war, has the highest like levels of happiness afterwards than has been recorded.
And probably work ethic.
Well, that's not what the point was.
Sorry.
So the happiness has been declining. So they were like the peak after the war because they were just so grateful to be alive and to have jobs. And then since then, even though the world's gotten more and more secure, happiness has gone down. And actually, this generation, I think millennials, are the most anxious generation that's existed. And there's no security. I just think that's interesting.
That is interesting.
I'm not quite sure how I got there or why it relates to what we're talking about, but...
Mandy moment.
Yeah. Maybe someone learned something there. But I do think it's important to talk about being honest with God and seeing someone like you, who I think people could say, like, you have a genuine faith that's lasted a long time, but you've been through the dark night of the soul. That's how I got there. You've been through multiple ones, and you still are grieving in different things that are going on in your life. And it's a part of your faith.
I think it has to be an ongoing part of your faith. It's not just something you do once. I think it's something that you repeat and you grow from.
Did I almost make you cry?
No. Why?
Your eyes are kind of watery. It's
Oh.
okay, honey. You can cry.
I rarely ever cry. He cries frequently.
Hey, commercials are moving. And movies. And athletic events. Oh, I miss athletic events. Otherwise known as sports.
I was like,
I love this athletic event that I'm watching on our screen that projects images. Get me some seltzer water.
who says that?
Athletic events.
I don't like seltzer water.
Me neither, and it's such the rage right now.
I know.
It's like, let's just put bubbles in water. Why? Just drink some water.
Because people don't like plain water.
I love plain water with lemon. I put lemon, so maybe
Actually,
that's my
the
advice.
seltzer water makes me thirsty.
Just gives me gas.
Well, that's
But what doesn't, am I right? Okay, we've gone the full circle here. Dark night of the soul, flatulence.
Flatulence is the worst.
Athletic events.
Is the worst word.
It
that
is.
And moist.
I
like them.
What about moist flatulence?
Honey.
All right.
Come on.
Oh, Nathan Tulowitzki says we should do a podcast.
Podcast.
Nathan, that's a great idea.
I should do a podcast on idiots.
Oh, yeah, and we could have Nathan as our first guest. Oh, boom roasted.
I'm not high-fiving that. That's so mean. I like that guy.
I do too.
I don't like
Who
idiots.
doesn't like a good idiot?
Who? Okay. Just putting it out there for all of you.
Oh, is this going to be offensive?
And
Should you think about it before you say it?
I did think about it.
Mm.
I've thought about this multiple times over the
That's
years.
probably not still good enough. All right.
When you are driving in your car,
Yeah.
you are not invisible. People can see what you're doing.
You're just talking to me right now.
In your car.
You're just confronting me on
Oh.
camera in front of
6
3 or
people.
4 people.
Well, let's be honest. This is your time because
This
I
is my
confronted
time?
you one
Are you
on.
killing me?
I've
Your time has come.
No,
Yes.
then it's on.
Listen.
Then it's recorded.
I pick
and
my
don't get
nose when I
anything.
drive.
I'm
So
not
soon.
talking about that. I'm not
Oh.
talking about you, even though that is grotesque. I am talking about other people. Like, so that's something you're going to choose to do in your car. You can't do it in the middle of, like, let's say a red light. Or you can't do it when you're driving on a crowded road. Like, obviously, there are times that would be better versus others if you're going to choose to do that in your
Do
car.
what? Give us an example.
Picking your nose is what I'm talking about.
But it's safer to pick your nose at a red light than while you're driving.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's actually something you've thought about.
I do not pick my nose at red lights.
Okay, whenever I pass the person who does that, I literally get so it's road rage. I want to just ram into their car and be like, "What are you stupid? Stop!"
I always think of Seinfeld, the episode where he's in the car and he does this, and the girl looks like,
It wasn't a
it's
pin.
like, it wasn't a pick, it was just a scratch, it was on the outside.
But it's not. These people are clearly not.
Yeah.
Or people.
Digging for gold.
Oh, come on. There are other things I hate people do when they drive. That was one of them.
Valerie George says, thank you for all the clarification and the overshare. If we do nothing, it is overshare, for sure. That is our one thing. We probably should have some sort of filters.
But this is the thing. I don't believe in filters.
Ooh, soapbox. When she does that, it's soapbox is coming. Here it comes.
Because I really value being genuine.
I know you do.
And I really value honesty. Those are like being honest is like
Yeah, we went over this last week.
whatever.
You're honest, and I'm a hard worker. Those are the only things we care about.
I am a hard worker.
I am honest. We know you're a hard
You're
worker.
not gonna make it to 23 years. Take notes.
You just
the first
outed
day,
yourself
I know,
right
the
here.
First day.
They're gonna be like, well, I wonder who did it.
Oh.
Maybe I should decrease our life insurance. De-incentivize you. Okay,
Whatever,
we're probably done. Don't you think?
Yeah, I have more things I could say about idiots.
I know, but this was actually about grieving.
I have a lot of things.
being honest.
There's a lot
with
of
God.
people I'm annoyed with.
Being
a lot
honest
of people
with
who
God.
are so stupid. You do the dumbest things.
So join us next week. We'll,
Like, put on a show and then no one's watching. How dumb is that?
well, number one, just because a few people are
What's
watching
happening?
doesn't mean
What's
it's not
happening?
worth it. The few people that are watching.
Oh, I
are
value
worth
those
it.
few people. I never
They're
said
worth
those
it.
people
Yes,
weren't worth
and
it.
sometimes you have to do something like this for a while before more people discover how incredibly helpful it is.
I would never say those people.
Or
were
maybe it's not
Oh.
helpful at all, and the few of you that are watching need to be honest with us.
Or maybe.
If you guys have ideas for how to make this better for others or better for you,
Or
we are
maybe-
all ears.
Or maybe. Clearly I am. I have baby monkey ears.
I don't know why you're so insecure about your ears.
I'm not
no
that
one looks at
insecure
you. No one looks
because
at you.
I'm obviously wearing a hat. My
No one
ears
looks
are
at you and
popping
thinks,
out.
wow, her ears are big. Or
I never said my
popping
ears
out.
were big.
Popping
They
out.
are tiny. I have small ears that stick out. They
Listen,
look like baby
it helps you
monkey
hear.
ears.
You would think it would help you hear, but
You
it
think
actually
it would.
doesn't. You're terrible hearing. Okay. So next week we'll our current modus operandi, I don't know how to say that, is we're gonna just talk about the teaching from the day before. But we have
we can talk about idiots. If you want to know what else I think is stupid,
you should look for idiots during the week, and we could have like the idiot of the week segment.
But then that's like I'm filming them. Is that
No, just talk about it. Don't have to take a picture.
I have actually taken a picture, videos of idiots before,
and
sent them to my sisters.
Oh, my phone's being used to record. I took a picture of this guy and I forgot to put it on Instagram. I was at
Christian.
I was at a school getting ready to deliver food, and I looked across the street and there was a guy with a fishing rod, and he was fishing into his tree. And I was like, wow, quarantine has really gotten to this poor guy.
Was he like practicing getting caught up and then...
I don't know.
And who does that?
There was nothing like in the tree that I could see him trying to like...
Was it
maybe
really
he was trying
old?
to fish something up and get it out.
Was he really old?
No.
Why didn't you ask him? I would have had to have asked him.
I took a picture of it because I thought it was awesome.
One time I saw a guy... You know what really bothers me? People who wear regular street clothes to run. I mean...
What are regular street clothes?
Like, they have on like normal shoes, and like they look like
Maybe they're running away from somebody.
It's not that.
Have you ever asked them if they needed help?
It's not that.
You just ridicule them, and they're like, "Somebody save me!" And you're like, "You idiot!"
I don't expect anybody to look super cool when they work out. For heaven's sake, I don't. But I'm just saying, at least wear the appropriate clothing. Like, come on. It's just no. It
All
just
right.
can't be a thing. And
Guys, we appreciate everyone who takes time to watch this. We hope that at least some part of maybe the middle section was encouraging, and and if there's anything else we can do to help, let us know. All right, bye guys.